She slammed the door so hard the entire apartment shook. "You're dead to me," she screamed, tears pouring down her cheeks, eyes wild with something I couldn't recognize. Rage, maybe, or something darker. I stood there stunned, holding nothing but my car keys and phone. I didn't even have shoes on. "You're ungrateful," she hissed. "You never appreciated anything I did." Then came the sentence that hit harder than a punch. "Get out and don't come back." We'd been married for 5 years. It wasn't perfect, but we'd always found our way through the storms. That night, the argument started over something small. I think I forgot to switch the laundry. It spiraled fast. Suddenly, I was being blamed for everything: her stress, her loneliness, her failed promotion. I couldn't get a word in. She was erupting, and all I could do was watch. Then, boom, banished. I got in the car and just drove. No destination, no plan. I slept in a parking lot that night in the back seat like some broken college kid. My phone buzzed all night with texts from friends asking if I was okay, but not one message from her. I kept thinking, how did we get here? Just a few months ago, we were planning a trip to Greece. Now I'm out in the cold and she's pretending I never existed. The next morning, I finally drove to my brother's place. I crashed there, trying to sort through what happened. I replayed the fight over and over in my head, trying to find the moment things snapped. Then, something weird hit me. She didn't cry until after I brought up her old phone, the one she kept in the drawer and told me not to touch. I didn't think much of it before, but now, it felt like a thread worth pulling. I told my brother everything. He gave me that look, the one that says he's got something to say but doesn't want to say it. "You ever think maybe she's hiding something?" he asked. I brushed it off at first, but the idea sat in my stomach like a rock. She was acting strange for weeks, secretive, emotional, always on edge. Suddenly the pieces didn't feel so random anymore, so I went back. Not to confront her. Not yet. Just to see. I waited until she left for work. Still had my key. I walked in, heart racing, straight to the drawer. The phone was gone. My heart started pounding. The drawer where the old phone used to be was empty. I checked everywhere, behind the bed, in the closet, even in the trash. Nothing. That phone wasn't just missing. It had been deliberately removed, and she never threw anything out. I knew then that whatever was on it, she didn't want me finding it. So I sat down and waited. Yeah, waited in silence, right there on the couch like a ghost in my own life. She came home at 5:47 p.m. The look on her face when she saw me sitting there said everything. It wasn't fear, it was guilt. Deep, naked guilt. "What are you doing here?" she asked, voice sharp. I didn't answer, just said, "Where's the old phone?" She froze, and for a second I could see her calculating, lying, preparing a story. But she didn't say anything, just turned around and walked into the bedroom. That's when I followed her. For the first time, I didn't let the silence hang. I said, "I know there's something you're hiding. You don't explode like that over laundry. What's going on?" Her back was still turned, but I saw her shoulders shaking. I thought she was crying. Then she spun around and threw the phone at me. "You want the truth? Fine." It hit the floor. Screen cracked, but it was still unlocked. There were photos, messages, a second number saved under a woman's name. But it wasn't a woman. It was him, her ex, the one who cheated on her and left her 5 years ago, the one who'd messaged her last year, just to talk. Apparently that talk turned into something more. Late night calls, weekend meetups, a hotel receipt, and a message that read, "He'll never find out. I've got it under control." She stood there crying, saying it was a mistake, that she felt lost, that she didn't know how to handle her emotions and the past just pulled her back in, that she thought I'd stopped loving her. But it didn't matter. The damage was done. I looked at her and didn't see my wife anymore. Just someone I used to trust. Someone who made me feel like I was crazy when I was just getting played. I left without saying another word. I didn't yell. Didn't cry. Didn't break anything. I just took my keys and walked out the same door she once told me never to come back through. This time, it was my choice. And I swear, the air felt lighter the second it closed behind me. I thought leaving would feel like freedom, but the silence that followed was louder than anything. For days, I didn't hear from her. No texts, no calls, just an eerie, echoing absence where her voice used to be. I moved into a small studio apartment across town. Cheap, quiet, cold. I slept with my hoodie on and didn't bother unpacking most of my things. What was the point? The version of me who decorated our house, hung up memories, built a future. He felt dead. Then, about a week later, I got a call. Unknown number. I almost didn't pick up, but something in my gut told me to answer. It wasn't her. It was him. Her ex. The guy from the phone. He sounded smug. Said something like, "Guess she told you, huh?" Took her long enough. I froze. "Why are you calling me?" I asked. He laughed. "Because she left me too." Apparently, after I walked out, she ghosted him as well. No goodbye, no closure, just vanished. And now he wanted to know if I knew where she was. Something wasn't right. I checked her socials. Everything had gone dark. No updates, no stories. Even her friends weren't tagging her anymore. I called her mom. Her mom didn't even know we were separated. "She told me you two were planning a trip," she said. A trip? We hadn't talked about traveling in months. That's when I got that feeling again. Like someone was standing just behind me watching. But I was alone in that studio. At least, I thought I was. 2 days later, a package showed up at my door. No return address. Just my name. Inside? A single envelope. No letter. Just one photograph. It was a picture of me. Sitting in my apartment. From outside the window. Taken at night. There was a smudge on the glass, like a handprint. My stomach dropped. I lived on the 3rd floor. I reported it, of course. Police asked all the usual questions, took the photo, and told me to keep my doors locked. But I knew this wasn't random. Someone wanted me to know I was being watched. And if it wasn't her, who the hell was it? I didn't sleep that night. I kept all the lights on, blinds shut tight, phone clutched in my hand like a lifeline. Every creak of the floor or distant honk outside made my heart jolt. I tried calling her again, straight to voicemail. I texted her best friend, her coworker, even the dog groomer she'd visited once. Nobody had heard from her. It was like she'd slipped into the earth. I was worried. But deep down, I was terrified. Then 3 days later, I got a voicemail. No words, just her breathing. Slow, shaky. And what sounded like footsteps echoing in the background. I played it over and over. At one point, I swear I heard a door creak open and her whisper, "He knows." My heart pounded so hard I thought I might pass out. Who was he? Was she in danger? Was I next? I went back to the house. Our old house. I shouldn't have, I know, but something pulled me there. It was empty, lights off, curtains drawn, but the front door was unlocked. Inside, everything was untouched. Her mug still by the sink, her scarf draped on the couch. But in the bedroom, things had changed. On the wall, scratched faintly into the plaster above our bed, were the words, "He's not gone." I backed out of there faster than I thought possible. I started digging, through old emails, messages, receipts, anything. That's when I found the name, a private investigator she'd hired months ago. Turns out she hadn't just suspected me, she'd suspected him, her ex, but not of cheating, of stalking, of breaking into her life again. The guy had a history she never told me about, restraining orders, harassment, and now, he might have been behind that photo, that voicemail. I turned everything over to the police, but nothing came of it. They said without proof, they couldn't do much. So I waited. Days passed, then a week. No more messages, no photos, just silence. Until one morning, I woke up to find something under my door, a single key, her key, with a note. "It's your turn to disappear. And that's the last I ever heard from her. I left town the next day, got rid of my phone, changed my name. Because if she ran from something and it still found her, I'm not waiting to find out if it's coming for me next.